What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Dolphins Daily, your daily dose of Dolphins content with your boy Chris Kane. Let's talk about the Dolphins. We got a fire truck outside. Don't worry about it. So we're gonna start in a not so sexy position. We're gonna talk about the long snapper, right? So I mentioned last time we were cutting our long-standing long snapper, and we're most likely going to sign Nealon Hibbert. We ended up doing that later that day of the episode, who was a free agent, undrafted free agent from Alabama. That most of y'all like, who cares? The long snapper situation. I don't like necessarily having young people in positions that are of that importance. Long snapping is one of those things that you don't notice it until it goes wrong. But when you're young, balls wet, cold temperatures, it can get a little dicey, especially when we're trying to pin people deep. It's a double thing. So the Dolphins thought we should probably bring in a veteran, and so they did. They went and got a former Patriot, Joe Cardano, who was with the Patriots for 10 years, who's there for two of their championships. And if you know anything about the Patriots, their special teams was always top notch. They very rarely got punts blocked, very rarely got kicks blocked, very often blocked both of those. Always good at downing the ball inside the end zone is a big Belichick special, right? So I trust the fact that not only is Joe a 10-year vet, he was a 10-year vet under Belichick. And as much as we hate the Patriots, you got to respect good coaching. Always very polished on that side of the game. And the weather in New England is way different than Miami. Snow, sleet, hail, cold. And if he can handle that for 10 years, he'll handle South Beach just fine. And when we go on the road to these cold weather games, we don't have to worry about things like how the Dolphins are going to do in cold weather because they don't have the guys used to it. In this case, this guy certainly is used to it. So I'm looking forward to seeing him just secure the position. I'm sure there's going to be a succession plan with Nealon after this. But for this year, if we're throwing all our chips in the middle of the table, let's make sure that is shored up. We also have a new punter this year. Like, we are doing a lot of new special team stuff because last year special teams was a disaster. Outside of Jason, not good. Not good on punt coverage, not good on downing punts, not good on distance. All around, not good. So I think this is a very, not sneaky, it is a very shrewd move that could have good consequences down the line. And it just shores up a position where we don't need to have any more ambiguity. We still don't know what a safety situation is going to be. We still don't know what a cornerback situation is going to be. D tackle, we feel better about. I know we feel great. Offensive guard, we'll see how these guys playing out. But at least we know long snapper, locked in. Now, this is what I believe is going to happen over the next few weeks. I think the Dolphins are going to be looking very hard in the cut market. Guys who didn't make the roster, people who got cut either for contracts or injuries or age. You're going to see a lot of people that you know and probably like getting cut soon. I can see guys like Nick Chubb being cut soon. I mentioned Jalen Ramsey might get cut. Recently, Jadeon Clowney just got cut. Now, Jadeon, as a name, top notch. As a performer, here. Like, he's a 3-time Pro Bowler, but he's been in the league for like 11 years. So he hasn't lived up to what he was supposed to be. Number one pick, we thought this guy might be, a Myles Garrett type. No, not that. And he did play well 2 years ago, got a nice contract, and then went to Carolina and just kind of went to die. Now, to be fair, Carolina, not a very good team. And so maybe the motivation to play well may not have been there. But now he just got cut. And I believe that he's looking for a place to go that he can play and have an impact on and maybe still win, right? There are a handful of contenders. I pray he doesn't go to Philadelphia because they have enough. But I think the Dolphins are very much in play. The question is, should the Dolphins make a move for Jadeveon, right? You shouldn't get him if you think he's going to be what he was a few years ago. If you think he's going to be 10 and a half, 11 sacks, game breaker guy, no. But because most of our outside linebackers, DNs, are very injury prone, I think it would be a good move to bring him in. One, as a body who knows what he's doing. Two, he has something to prove. Three, I think there's a little bit of juice left in that tank. And four, we can put him on a pitch count. We don't need you to go out there and play 10 snaps in a row. We need you to come in on second and long, third and long, get off the field. He can go as hard as he wants for a short period of time, take a long breath, Gatorade, sit on the bench, and then, hey, 3rd and 7, Jadeveon. He's like, come out there, do your job, run off the field, high five the team, and then maybe like in a late 4th down drive, you just stay on the field the whole time because like the down and distance is critical. Sure, but I think there's value to him possibly being on the team. Again, I'm not wishing anything on Bradley or Jalen, but we know what the history has been. It hasn't been great for injuries. I think him being on the team shores that up. It also can put them on a pitch count, right? Like, I'm not sure what the defensive philosophy going into this year is. I haven't heard Anthony talk about it. But the goal can't be we're going to just put Jalen and Bradley on the field a ton because they're both coming off injuries and we don't want either of them to get hurt this year. The idea that we can keep them in a constant rotation, I think Chop is going to play a lot. Like, he's going to be probably our most played defensive end, outside linebacker. But the other guys, like Jalen on the pitch count, makes sense to me. Last year of his deal, makes sense to me. Bradley Chubb already restructured his contract. So we want to keep these guys around as long as we can and keep them healthy. We bring in Jadeon, who's, again, I think there's something left in the tank. The end of the Carolina run wasn't great, but I don't think that's all on him. I think when you're on a team that's not winning, it's easy to kind of just go into the tank. And he was already making his money. Like 2 years ago, he was on a 1-year deal playing for a contract. I'm very much a fan, and y'all all know this. I'm a big fan of 1-year contracts, playing for the money, put up or shut up. I'm big for that because if you have anything left in the tank, if you have anything in you to get the money that you want, you're going to give everything. I think George Pickens has a real chance to ball out for Dallas this year because he knows if he does, money's coming. If he does not, franchise tag. Right? Jadeveon is like, hey, probably not getting that big bag again. If he comes to the Dolphins, it'll be 1 year, $2 to $3 million contract with maybe incentives. But if he balls out this year, I'm saying 8 to 10 sacks, he might get a 2-year, 12. You know what I'm saying? Like, and maybe like half of that guarantee, maybe up to like, you can see how that could be his last semi-big contract. And when you're at the end of your run as an NFL player, you know if I can squeeze a little bit more out of that. 1 year, $3 million. If he goes out this year and has 1.5 sacks, most likely retired. Most likely not getting picked up. Maybe if people get hurt, he could just be on his couch and say, I'm still in shape, and he obviously won't be. Takes him 3 weeks to get in shape, and then maybe comes in and makes a late 4 or 5 game run. That's a possibility. If he plays well and stays healthy, though, somebody next year, Buffalo, Kansas City, Baltimore, Philadelphia, Dallas, someone's going to be like, yo, Jadeveon, he had 7 8 sacks last year. I think we could maybe get a little bit more juice out that squeeze. Then as you get that 2-year contract, 2 years, 10, 12 million, give me a little couple of incentives. If I get over 6 sacks, another 250, you start seeing how the money goes up. I can clearly see that in his future. I think he can see it too. So there's a possibility that if we do sign him, it's got to be a 1-year deal, got to be a prove it, and we'll see if he can go out there and earn himself some money. But I'm here for it. I endorse it. Now, this is unconfirmed. I'm going to say this is leaked. It's been leaked by a couple sources, so we're going to operate as if this is the true story. We know the Dolphins are playing in Madrid this year. We got the rights from the NFL to do that. First game in Madrid, super happy about that. We've been speculating about who we're going to play. And we know we have a murderer's row of teams to play this year. So according to the leak, the Dolphins, I believe it's November 16th, are going to be playing the Washington Commanders. And it'll be technically a home game for us, even though Spain is not Miami. Now, we have to play with Commanders anyway, so we're not speculating about the team that's on our calendar. But I think that's a pretty good matchup. One, I think Jaden Daniels is a star. I think the NFL wants to put their stars abroad. DC, I mean, you're the capital. We know the vibes. Good team, NFC Championship last year. You know, I think there's a lot to do there. For the Dolphins, what an opportunity, right? You get to go up against one of the elite quarterbacks. Crazy conditions, like on the road, but at home, whatever. I think there should be a lot of points scored because Washington scores points. And so it could very much be a quarterback battle. And what more cinematic moment could we have than Tua, the old guard, against Jaden, who I think is only 2 years younger than Tua, if I'm not mistaken, because he stayed in college a little bit longer because he came in the league at 24. So Jaden's got to be turning 25, Tua's 27. So even though it was like the new and old, Tua's been in the league forever, and Jaden has kind of been in college. But old and young, let's keep it there. I think it'd be a great game, great opportunity for our secondary, because November 16th, we should be about 2 months into the year, almost 3 months into the year. So by that point, I don't expect, the first few games of our secondary to be solid. I think over the first 5 to 7, 8 games, we're going to figure out who should be playing, what rotations. Are we going to be pure zone, cover 3, cover 2? We blitzing. We're going to figure out what we're going to have. by the time this game happens, we should know what our defense is, which means it will be virtually our best version of ourselves, barring injury, of course, against their offense, which we're assuming is going to be better than last year. They did add Debo in the offseason, and of course they got Scary Terry and Jaden, right? So I think it's a great challenge for the team. I think going over there, home game in front of that crowd, getting a dub, bringing that energy and life back here, making the last season playoff push will be fantastic. Again, this is unconfirmed that we're playing Washington, but it seems like good authority. That's what the matchup's going to be. It didn't matter who it was going to be, but I like watching Washington play. So I would have preferred it be them and not like the Patriots. Woof, would have been a disaster. But we will see. This will be confirmed May 14th. So we might be 5 or 6 days ahead of it, but we'll see if we're right about this. And as always, guys, we appreciate y'all for tuning in to Dolphins Daily. Thank you for the likes, subscribes, reshares, all that good stuff. We appreciate your time. We'll see you next time on Dolphins Daily. Peace.